Hello everyone, and welcome to the first Tempestorm Wild Meta Snapshot in the wake of the May 22nd balance changes. The changes to Preparation and Raiding Party in particular are making a difference in Wild by virtually eliminating Kingsbane Rogue from the meta. The tier list has shifted in response, with Big Priest joining Odd Paladin and Merlok Shaman in Tier 1. Even with the increase in Priest presence, other Wild Meta staples continue to have an influence. Overall, the environment is still defined by aggressive decks and decks that are tuned to counter them. Before we break down these changes, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with our Hearthstone content. Now let's get right to it. As always, decks at Tier 1 are all around powerful and have good matchup spreads against most decks. In this report, the biggest shakeup from the nerfs is the disappearance of Kingsbane Rogue from Tier 1. With no representation and no new list since balance change, it is yet to be determined if the archetype will recover, so it technically sits at Tier 3 for now. Therefore, with the loss of Kingsbane Rogue as its most prominent counter, Big Priest ascends to Tier 1 on the back of its excellent matchup spread against popular decks in both Tiers 1 and 2. Our featured list from Corbett continues to set the standard for the archetype, featuring powerful priest removal to keep early aggro pushes in check, and buy time to get its large threats online. Big Priest still boasts great matchups against Merlok Shaman and Odd Paladin, and does well against the field at large, though bad matchups like the Odd Rogue and Exodia Mage still exist. Even with the rise of Priest, Odd Paladin continues to set the pace for board aggression in Wild, using the power of Baku the Moon Eater to spam tokens that turn into serious threats, with buffs from Warhorse Trainer and Quartermaster. Our featured list from Ghost Dog includes some adjustments against Priest, adding an extra copy of Divine Favor for additional refill against heavy removal, while dropping Fungalmancer in exchange. Odd Paladin is a relentless deck that requires dedicated anti-aggro, such as Jade Druid or even Warlock, to keep it in check. Merlok Shaman also holds steady in Tier 1 with an alternate approach to board-centric aggression. Merlok snowball fast with a powerful 1-2-3 curve, with explosive refill and a powerful burst finisher. Our featured list from Romulus drops Sludge Slurper and Siltfin Spirit Walker in order to fit in Double Devolve and Loatheb to improve its matchup against Priest. Merlok Shaman develops faster than other aggro such as Odd Paladin and Aggro Druid, but suffers more against wide removals from Big Priest and even Warlock. Compared to the shakeups at Tier 1, Tier 2 remains relatively static from our last snapshot. Even with the loss of Kingsbane Rogue and the spike of Big Priest, Tier 2 remains tuned in response to an aggressive meta. As always, Tier 2 decks are powerful, but tend to have weaker matchup spreads in general compared to Tier 1. Tier 2 has 7 decks in our snapshot, with 3 featured in this video. Quest Mage continues to be a rising star in Tier 2, as players gain more experience in reining in the powerful swings from this unpredictable deck. The featured legend list from Zeddy uses cheap spells like Magic Trick, Primordial Glyph, and Ray of Frost, combined with Sorcerer's Apprentice, Flamewaker, and Mana Cyclone to create massive swings. Its dependence on combos and RNG can make it awkward against fast aggro decks, but it does well against Odd Paladin thanks to Flamewaker, and also does well against slower decks like Reno Warlock that give it time to develop. Also high on Tier 2 is Even Warlock, fueled by 1 mana life taps thanks to Gen Greymane. Even Warlock stockpiles cards while creating massive threats with Mountain Giant and Twilight Drake. It features cards like Hooked Reaver and Molten Giant to take advantage of the damage it takes against aggro and its own hero power, eventually sweeping the board with E.V.I.L and Hellfire to lock out Odd Paladin and Merlok Shaman behind big taunts. Even Warlock is usually unfavored against Big Priest, but our featured list from Ben From Work includes double Spellbreaker and Mojo Master Zihi to improve the Priest matchup. Finally, rounding out our featured Tier 2 archetypes is Jade Druid. Jade Druid remains a popular deck that is well positioned against aggro decks in Tier 1. Our featured list from Alex Strazik continues to set the standard for the archetype, and includes a wide variety of armor gain, mass removal, and taunts to lock out aggression from the game. One thing is clear, with the rise of Big Priest, there is a niche left open from the loss of Kingsbane to serve as a Priest counter. Of all the decks in Wild, few have as strong a matchup against Big Priest as Exodia Mage. The so-called Exodia combo deals infinite damage without attacking and has long been a natural predator of Big Priest and other anti-aggro control decks. Our featured list by KSR includes powerful draw engines, defensive tools, and freeze effects in order to stall the game and draw its combo pieces. Once you assemble the combo, a prep turn with Emperor Tharzan with Ice Block up usually puts your opponent in an unwinnable position. In addition to its excellent matchup against Big Priest, Exodia Mage thrives against decks that are slow to apply pressure and have few ways to interact with its combo. Aggro matchups are still rough, but with careful defensive plays and some luck, you can buy enough time to go infinite against any deck. In conclusion, in the wake of the nerfs to Rogue, the Wild meta continues to revolve around aggression and well-established archetypes. While Big Priest is the clear big winner of the balance changes, other Wild format staples continue to have a huge influence. Overall, the balance changes are still young, and the meta will continue to adjust. Keep in mind, Wild has a wide variety of decks, so even if we didn't feature your favorite archetype in this video, you're likely to see it again in the future, maybe even after the Rise of the Mechs balance patch has had a chance to develop. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments where you think the Wild meta will end up next. Thanks for watching, and best of luck in the end of season climb.